That was so nice.
You want me to do it again?
Yeah, do it again, so that everyone can really...
Hola a todos, bienvenidos para esta conferencia.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the opening press conference with FIFA President Gianni Infantino. Thank you for your time.
Welcome to this opening press conference of the World Cup. Just one day away from the opening match here in Mexico City. Thanks to the many hundreds of you who have gathered here and many more joining us online in the media centres across our 16 host cities and beyond. Good to see you all here before the teams and the fans take centre stage. With that, I will hand over to the man taking centre stage at the moment, the FIFA President Gianni Infantino, for some opening remarks.
Thank you, Brian. Muchas gracias. Mi querido Brian, great pleasure.
Thank you, my dear Brian.
Hello, everyone. Good morning for this press conference here. ¿Qué pasa? ¿Todo bien? Bien. Bueno.
What's going on? Is everything okay?
Bienvenue à tout le monde. Willkommen. Ahlan wa sahlan. You know how to say it in all the languages. So it's a pleasure to be here today because we are kicking off the 23rd FIFA World Cup. So it's a moment of joy, it's a moment of celebration, it's a moment of happiness, and I am very, very happy to see this ball rolling in a few hours' time. It's put in the right way. And this trophy being awarded in a few weeks' time. The most iconic trophy in the world, the most incredible cup, a trophy and a ball that makes people dream all over the world. And today, I hope we can also speak a little bit about football, because that's what we are here about, right? I know that there are other topics as well, and we will definitely also touch on them, but I would like to ask you to really focus on football. So let me start by saying a few things. The first one is that there is an empty seat here in this room today. Il y a une chaise vide dans cette salle. And this empty seat is for a French journalist, Christophe Glaise, who is the only sports journalist who is detained in the world. And of course he has an accreditation, and of course he has his seat here for him. And I've invited his parents to a game, France-Senegal. But I hope, I really hope, that in a great act of humanity, he will be given grace, the presidential grace, and can even join us here during the World Cup. But for the time he's not here, his seat is here for him, for Christophe. Pour Christophe. I would like to mention as well another journalist, Enrique Macaya Márquez, de Argentina, un periodista que este año va a celebrar su mundial.
A journalist who will be celebrating his 18th World Cup. He started in 1958 with the World Cup language. Dear Enrique is not here with us today, but he will be part of this World Cup. A big hug from all of us. Let's keep on going.
17,000 media representatives have been accredited, is that right?
Yes, across all parties, yep. 17,000 including media partners.
So I think this is, I guess this is a record. But generally, this World Cup, the 23rd World Cup in the history of FIFA, is a World Cup which is breaking records. And for this we are very happy, and for this, before we kick off, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to quite a few people, actually. First to you, to the media, to all of you, for relating, for transporting, for bringing to the homes of people the emotion of the game. You know from all over the world what it means to be part of the World Cup, what it means for people to participate, to live a World Cup back home. And you bring it to them, so I thank you for that. Quisiera también agradecer la presidenta.
I would also like to thank the President of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum,
Todo su gobierno, la administración,
her team, all her administration, the governors, every single mayor, the people of Mexico. We want to say thank you for welcoming us as if it were our home.
Thank as well President Trump and his administration, everyone in DC, the same in the United States, every governor, mayor, every person who has been involved, every American citizen who makes us come home and live a great World Cup. And finally, I would like to thank as well Prime Minister Carney, his government, Canada, not just Toronto and Vancouver, but the entire country who is gearing up for this World Cup again. My thanks also to the 48 teams, the coaches, the players, the officials, the staff, the kit people, everyone who is involved in the World Cup. And a big, big thank you also to the fans who are here, 6.5 million, 7 million, we don't know exactly, will be in the stadiums for the matches. There will be many more millions in the fan zones, fan fests, watch parties, not just in the three host countries, but everywhere in the world, and the fans make the World Cup, of course, what it is. And I would like to thank as well those who are not participating, all 211 FIFA member associations, because it's thanks to the work of all of them that we are here today. It's thanks to the fact that we are investing, especially from the revenues of a World Cup, into all these countries, that football can grow all over the world, and the dream can be alive all over the world. So, as I said, I would like to speak about football, especially when you are here in this location, in front of this incredible stadium, the Azteca Stadium, or as we call it for the World Cup, the Ciudad de México. Estadio Ciudad de México, ¿sí? ¿Es esto? This is a special stadium. It's an iconic stadium. It's a stadium where Pelé and Maradona won the World Cup. It is the stadium where the match of the century took place, where Italy beat Germany in the semi-final in 1970. By the way, Gianni Rivera, who scored that 4-3 goal, will be here tomorrow, and Rivellino from Brazil will be here as well. It's the match where Manuel Negrete scored that incredible goal in the last World Cup here. It's the only stadium which will have 3 opening games. It is a real cathedral of football. And it is definitely a part of the world that is blessed by the god of football, or the gods of football, because otherwise we wouldn't have lived so many incredible things here. So, before just opening the floor, can I say another?
Absolutely.
Few things?
Go for it.
What's this noise? Air condition?
Yes.
Okay. As I said, and as you can imagine, to organize a World Cup is not an easy undertaking. So I want to say thank you to my entire team. Some of them are here, others are in the different venues, in the different cities, back in Zurich or in the other offices. A big, big team that works tirelessly to make sure that we can host the biggest, the best, the greatest, the most inclusive World Cup in the history of FIFA. The biggest event probably in the history of mankind. 3 big, big countries, 16 host cities, 48 participating teams, 104 matches, 104 Super Bowls in 1 month. You know all this. 6.5 million people in the stadiums, 6 billion watching from home for free. And all these people, they want to enjoy a moment of happiness, a moment where their day-to-day problems can be left aside and they can just enjoy the game and cry if their team loses or cry if their team wins. And just feel this emotion in community with others. And this, I think, is absolutely fundamental. Now, when we work on that, and this is something that maybe many people don't know, maybe you know the numbers, you know that we will generate whatever, 11 billion, 12 billion, 13 billion, we don't know, we will see for the World Cup, that we invest 4 billion for operational costs, that the rest is going into developing the game in 211 countries, including in countries where nobody else is investing but FIFA. We'll certainly speak about that. But an operation like a World Cup is 5,000 staff members of FIFA, is 50,000 volunteers, it's 17,000 media representatives, but it's also 300,000 accredited personnel, 300,000 people who have an accreditation like the one you have, meaning they have a function, a job to do somewhere around the World Cup, from media to security to catering to transportation, everything. It's 300,000 people to make sure that everything happens in the best possible way. We don't have just 16 host cities, we have 500 official sites. Security must be guaranteed in these sites. Transportation must be guaranteed to these sites. Hotels, training camps, other areas. 500 official sites. All this, of course, requires a lot of work. We are preparing for it to work seamlessly, without any issue, without any problem. But of course, you can probably not organize an event of such a magnitude in an absolutely perfect way. I, as FIFA president, will always say that what we do is absolutely perfect. Certainly the work that my team is doing is absolutely perfect. Sometimes, if they mess it up, it is because of me. But it's true that we are confronted with challenges that we would rather not be confronted, and when we are confronted with these challenges, then we have to deal with them. And sometimes we can solve them, and other times we cannot solve them, and we try just to make the best out of it. So I want to mention maybe at the outset, and this maybe answers some of your questions already. I mean, the three topics which were coming up all the time in the last few weeks. Iran, tickets, and visas. Nothing to do with football, a lot to do with the current situation, with our host countries, with the world the way it is. So let me say that on Iran, I'm very happy because I went to see myself the Iranian team in Turkey, in Antalya, in March of this year. And when people were saying, well, it would be impossible for Iran to come to the World Cup, I told them and I promised them that they would come, and if I had to go with a bus to Tehran and drive them here, I would do that. Their answer was, we will take the bus ourselves and drive it if need be. We qualified and we want to play. And this is the spirit of football. Now, of course, there are challenges. Of course, it's not easy. I don't know who else would have been able to ensure that in these circumstances, which we cannot influence, obviously, in these circumstances, Iran could come and play. And where Iran plays, the stadium will be full, and I hope there will be a positive atmosphere, because this is football. This is about people forgetting for a moment their realities and being able to focus on a match and on a team. So I'm very happy that we managed to get Iran to come and play in this World Cup. And I'm proud of the work of my team and grateful to the administrations of the three host countries for having cooperated with us to make this happen. And there are some issues that we are still dealing with, of course, to make sure that everything goes in the right way. The second topic is tickets. And the ticket prices, and are stadiums going to be full or not? You tell me if I forget something, Brian.
Well, don't worry.
Or you will tell me certainly as well. So we sold until today over 6 million tickets. There are always tickets on sale. As you know, we also need always to keep some tickets for those teams who qualify for the additional rounds. The demand has been unprecedented, but not unprecedented by a little bit, but unprecedented by a factor of 10 or more. The number of ticket requests we received has been absolutely incredible, and I want to start there as well by thanking all the fans who bought a ticket, who are buying tickets to come to the World Cup. The World Cup is a unique event, an event that takes place every 4 years. The last World Cup in this part of the world was in the last century, in 1994 for the US, in 1986 for Mexico. We don't know when the next one will be. It is a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and when you are in a country, when you are in a part of the world, you need, of course, to deal with the local habits and the local customs. And let me just say that our entry price, which is $60, is the lowest entry price of any of the American sports in the playoff phases. Our average price, which is below $500, is again the lowest of the American sports on average, if we take the playoffs, I think we can at least compare the playoffs of an American sport with the World Cup. If you look at the final of the NBA, the Knicks against San Antonio, I don't know how many people are watching that on TV, 10 million maybe, I don't know. The World Cup will be watched by 6 billion people. So in terms of importance, the World Cup is much, much more important. And the fact that when we put these tickets on sale, they go on the secondary market, which is absolutely legal here, and they are sold for a much higher price. This certainly shows that the prices were accurate in terms of the way they have been determined. You can also imagine that these decisions are not just taken like this, somebody wakes up and decides on a price. There is a lot of analysis, a lot of work, a lot of experts who are involved in deciding what should happen. And when it comes to this legal investigations or complaints that were made in some states in the US, let me say there as well that we are very relaxed about it, because before starting to sell 6.5 or 7 million tickets, we check what we do with the best lawyers, with the best experts. If we do something wrong, then probably everyone selling tickets in North America is doing something wrong as well. But because this makes headlines, it's good as well to put it a little bit in a context. And let's say California, who was the first one. I was in Los Angeles yesterday as well, by the way. Fantastic fan fest there at the Coliseum. Sold out for tomorrow. 40,000 people will watch the opening of Mexico, South Africa in Los Angeles Coliseum. Beautiful. So in California, we sold around 800,000 tickets for the games in Los Angeles and San Francisco. Now, out of these 800,000 tickets, we had 3. Not 3,000, not 300, 3 customers who complained. I think a 4th one came since, so it's 4. And all these cases were solved before, of course, these investigations started. So we welcome every investigation. We are happy to present everything, and we are happy to make our case. But what is most important in all of that is that every dollar that we generate goes back into football. If we were, like everyone else in football does by now, selling our TV rights on pay TV, like everyone else, and nobody is shocked about that, then billions of people in the world will not have access to the World Cup. We would generate 4 times more revenues, and we could give the tickets probably for the matches for free. They would still end at the black market and in the secondary market and be sold at thousands of dollars. So we have to strike a balance. And for me as FIFA president, it is important that we invest in all the countries where nobody wants to invest. Who is investing in South Sudan? Who is investing in Sierra Leone? Who is investing in Bhutan or in East Timor or in Vanuatu? Nobody. We do it, and we do it thanks to the revenues that we generate. And when it comes to ticketing in particular, and ticketing in this World Cup in particular, it is also connected with events like concerts, halftime show, pre-match, during the halftime, at the final, which again are connected with the FIFA Global Citizen Education Fund, where we want to raise money to invest in education, again, all over the world, in Africa, in Asia, in Oceania, Central, South America, everywhere where there is a need is where the money goes. So I thank very much all those who are contributing to make this happen. Now the third point about the visas, also there we have heard and read a lot. Truth is, we have been able, when it comes to the US in particular, where the highest number of games are taking place, to organize with the American administration the FIFA pass system, so a speedy procedure to obtain the visas, which I am told is working. Now, maybe it's not working always and with everyone, but in the vast majority of situations, it is. We have obtained that the bonds or the payments which had to be made on some countries in Africa have been waived, so they don't have to be made for those who are coming to the World Cup. No government has obtained that for their citizens. We obtained it for the fans. Of course, it is unfortunate as well what happened to Omar, the referee from Somalia. But again, we don't control everything. We try, we will discuss, we will speak, we will see. Maybe sometimes it's good as well to just, chill, relax. We work on everything. We try to solve everything. Sometimes to immediately start screaming and shouting has the opposite effect of finding a solution. Believe me when I tell you, or don't believe me if you don't want, but we try always to find solutions. Always. But then we need to respect that we are not the kings of the world who can rule over governments and police forces and I don't know what. We are a sports organization. We try to do our best with the means that we have to make as much as possible. And in this, and I conclude, we want to unite the world. And if I can ask you one thing, again, if you want to criticize me, that's fine. It's okay. But promote the unity of the World Cup. Promote people coming to the World Cup, feeling those emotions that all of you have been feeling when you were children, and I hope you can still feel them now, because we want to unite the world. And speaking about uniting and unity, I want to give you two more pieces of information. Also there, I've been reading a lot, and I've not been saying anything. So we just have reached an agreement and signed a memorandum of understanding with FIFPro, the Players' Union. And this is good news. It's about unity, about bringing everyone together, because we've always been having dialogues. Now, sometimes you don't agree. When you don't agree, well, you can go and say it to everyone, or you can sit down and discuss and see what makes more or less sense. So we signed a memorandum of understanding with FIFPro. Everything is agreed. We have an agreement of the Players' Union, of the EFC, the European Football Clubs, and of the World Leagues Association on the new version of the regulation for a status and transfer of players. This is very important as well. This is $7, $8, $9, $10 billion moving from one country to the other, helping training clubs. This has to be regulated. And because of a case, the so-called Diarra case, we had to revisit it. We did. We made an agreement as well with Diarra, without any compensation, without, of course, any liability from FIFA, but just discussing with common sense. And everyone now is on board. We have a new regulation that will be approved, hopefully, very, very soon by the FIFA Council, by the Bureau. I already approved it. My colleagues, I'm sure they will approve it, hopefully, as well. And we will be able to start the World Cup and then also the transfer season and so on with a much more united landscape in the world of football. Thank you very much. The floor is yours. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Gianni. Okay, time for questions. Please wait for the microphone. One question each per organisation. I want to try and get to as many of you as possible. If you could state your name and organisation. So we'll go first, please. On the front row. Gentleman. Okay, front row here. Second. Here, this gentleman here.
Buenas tardes.
Templo de fútbol, será la...
You mentioned that Azteca is the cathedral of football. And yes, we have a history no other stadium has. It was refurbished and it will become functional for the next years to come. What do you feel now that the Mexican national team is opening the World Cup? Thank you for your question. As FIFA president, it's thrilling. It's a unique feeling to be in that stadium, opening the 23rd World Cup. I was born on a 23rd, on March 23, but of course that has nothing to do with this topic. But I was born in 1970, which was the year of the first World Cup in Mexico, and my father, and you know, I get emotional about this because my father used to tell me all about the stadium. You know, we were Italian immigrants in Switzerland, and it seemed out of this world. It made my parents feel so proud, especially due to the Italian win, of course, and that amazing Brazil with Pelé, who won the World Cup with an absolutely amazing national team. 1986, same thing with Diego. A unique thrill. You remember Diego's goal in that final with Germany. And yes, this stadium is blessed by the gods of football because it has seen amazing things. Being able to host the opening ceremony of the World Cup, and it's the first World Cup organized in 3 countries, which also matters. You know, 3 countries such as Mexico, the United States, and Canada have been working together to put up the largest event in the world, and it's just a token of that when you set out to do something, you can do it. And the whole magic of the Azteca Stadium has played a key role in all of it. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to third row. Gentleman in the glasses there. Third row. The third row at the back. Third row. Aquí. Keep going. There. Yeah. Thank you.
Sí. Hola, Gianni. José
Hola.
Luis Díaz, del diario AS.
Hi, Gianni. Jose Luis Diego from Diario AS. You've been talking about major issues, international issues, but we haven't been talking much about football. And it's our expectation for 4 years. We will have Messi, we will have Cristiano. They made it possible to be here. So do you have any favorites? Can you delve into football now? Thank you. Absolutely. And it's not me saying this because I'm not so knowledgeable about football, as you know, but I'm surrounded by people who know all about football around me. This World Cup will certainly be one of the most spectacular in history because, as you know, today nowadays it's really hard to know who's going to be the winner. In the past you used to have a couple of favorites. There was usually someone who sneaked in and caused surprise, but today it could be anybody, the Europeans, Spain, France, England, Germany, Italy, Portugal, of course, or it could be Brazil, Argentina, Ecuador, Colombia. They all have great teams as well. Morocco, Senegal, from Africa, they are massive surprises. Japan also has a great team. We've seen them play. Norway has a wonderful team. It's going to be really difficult, as I mentioned before, it's going to be really difficult to place your bets. And it's also going to be hard because we have different teams playing all over the three countries. Altitude will play its part in Mexico City, or the tropical weather in Miami. In the northwest of the United States, the weather is completely different. We have open and closed bowls as well. And you will not play only 7 matches. You'll have to play 8 to get the win. And you also have to focus on the chemistry between the national teams and what's going to happen amongst them. I believe that every single team has been training strongly, and football as a game has never been better, and we'll really enjoy it. The pitches are absolutely spectacular. We've invested in the last 5 years a whole lot of money to get them ready, so they're all operating under the same conditions, whether it's Miami, Vancouver, or Mexico City. So it will be a fiesta. It'll be a party, and let's get this party starting. Thank you.
Thank you. Dan Rowan, BBC. Mr. President, you say people should chill and relax about these situations, but you've got one of the world's top referees told he can't enter the United States, sent back home, accused of having links with suspected terror organizations. We have Mexico having to change their training, Iran having to change their training base here to Mexico. We have fans and journalists from a number of countries who aren't able to attend this World Cup because of travel bans or visa restrictions. You yourself have said in the past how important it is to have freedom of movement at a global event like this. You've said how inclusive it is, how welcoming it is as well. Are you embarrassed, therefore, by what actually has come to pass? And do you have to accept that you've lost some control of your own tournament here?
Thanks you're from BBC. BBC. In 2035, I think, we hope, the Women's World Cup will be in the UK, right? Still needs to be a decision, but looks like. Would you find it normal that FIFA would dictate to the British government who to let in the country and who not to let in the country? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe you find it normal. I would like, personally. On the other side, the reality of the matter is that in every country there are governments. Try to get into the UK, into Germany, into Switzerland without a visa. Try to get a visa if you are from a certain country. It's not easy, that's what I want to say. It's not easy when you have 300,000 accredited people, majority of which from outside of the US, to process them, to vet them. You don't know, unfortunately, our world is, a very aggressive world, and security goes above everything, and and you need to respect the decisions which are taken. And when I say to chill, I don't mean to chill and do nothing. I mean to trust us, that we are working behind the scenes, we are trying to understand, and there are things we can know, things we cannot know, things we are told, things we are not told. And we always try to make the situation as positive as possible and to find solutions. Sometimes we manage, other times not. You know, I think it has already been successful to bring Iran to play in America. I don't know who would have managed to do that. And of course, everyone here believes it's the right thing to do. But, you know, again, we don't live on the moon, we live on planet Earth, and you have to deal with different situations. We try to do our best. We try to do our best.
Thanks,
and I hope we'll have some good news.
Gentleman in the front row. Thank you.
Presidente John Sutcliffe de ESPN. Yo le quiero hacer una pregunta a Gianni.
President, I have a question for Gianni Infantino, the human being. These are times where there are wars, where people don't get along, where there's lack of empathy. How can these 39 days help all the people around the world who just don't get along, to see if at least they'll try to make it work? Thank you. Thank you for the question. I truly believe in the magic, in the power of the football, the trophy of the FIFA World Cup, the magic of these World Cups matches. And I'm just like everybody else, you know. I'm a spectator of the world situation, and on top of that, you know, we all have our own personal issues in every corner of the world. But I also think that an event of this magnitude, of this relevance, and the transcendence of a World Cup can help. It can help because I'm convinced that human beings, human beings are good and not evil. We're deeply good and not evil. There are some that may be evil, and there are some that believe that only bad news is news. But I don't think so, because we've experienced it. We went through it in the last World Cup back in Qatar, when we were afraid because we had fans of 32 countries at the same place at the same time. You know, usually get to have 2 country fans in the same city, and you have to build 2 safety and security plans, because some of the fans will be coming this way and the others will be coming on the different way. But in Qatar, everybody was there all together for 1 month, and what happened? Nothing happened. You know, it was all friendship, it was happiness. People didn't speak the same language, but they did coexist, and they played football together because people want to be together and they want to feel happy. You know, it brings me back to my own experience when I was a little boy. You know, we didn't have anything. We were immigrants in Switzerland, and they were my friends over there. You know, the World Cup was an occasion to experience a celebration and have the opportunity to share great times with other people. Our world today, I believe that's what it needs. This is why I'm asking you to convey that positive emotion everywhere. Yeah, the problems are there, and they're there to be sorted out and solved. Thank you.
Joe from News 24 in South Africa. President, you've said that you need to promote the unity of the World Cup. But when the bulk of these games are going to a country whose stance has gone against that, promoting unity, do you regret the US being one of the co-hosts of this World Cup, given that the bulk of the hiccups and challenges from this tournament have come from the administration?
Do I regret what? Did you hear? Do I regret what? No, I don't regret anything. I think, I mean, you know, I've been organizing events for the last, I don't know, 30 years probably, between UEFA and FIFA. I'm pretty much, I'm looking at my colleagues here, I'm pretty much used to deal with issues. If there are no big issues, there are small issues, and the small issues become big issues as well. The press conference I made 3.5 years ago, you all remember that. The issues there were different, probably bigger. We were giving, and I was feeling that I have to give the voice to all those who are unheard, the global south or whatever I've been told. So, you know, there are issues, as it's normal for an event of this magnitude. I'd always hope there are no issues, but hey, that's what we have to deal with. Some come from the United States, some from Canada, some come from Mexico. We deal with all of them, and we have the same positive spirit. Hopefully we can solve all of them. Probably not, but we still do our best.
Okay, thanks. Front row here. Thank you. Tom in front. In front, yeah. In front, Tom. Front row. Thank you.
Hola, presidente, ¿cómo estás? Marina Granciera de...
Hello, I am Marina Granciera from Caracol, Colombia. I would like to ask about the new protocol. It was how is it going to work, and how did you reach the conclusion that that would be an important novelty? Well, thanks for your question. And we will see how it will work. Should I answer in English or Spanish? Spanish is my Spanish is not as good. Well, I will try. I will try, because this is a very important and a very interesting question as well. This is for the first time that all players, 26 players, that will go on the field, the banners will be, the flags will be big, and the national anthem will be played with the very large flags and with the whole team on the field. And where did this protocol came from? Well, as you know, we always want to do new things, and we thought about something like American and Showtime and something like that. But this actually came from a conversation that I had with Alessandro Del Piero. Do you know who Alessandro Del Piero is? Alessandro Del Piero, some months ago, told me, why don't you think of maybe bringing the whole team on the field during the national anthem, because we are all part of the team. And I don't know if this came from the fact that when he scored one of the greatest goals of all times in the history of World Cups, he came from the bench. He was just coming from the bench, and he scored that magnificent goal. And I don't know if that was the reason, but he said we are all part of the same team, and it struck a chord, and we started talking about that, and then we broke the news, and we thought it was interesting, and then we spoke with other people from the football world, with the players, and they thought that this was a good idea to have all the players involved. because in football today we have 11 on the field, 5 substitutions, one, maybe 6, maybe one more, and maybe all of the players will play at some point during the World Cup. So making them feel part of this very heartfelt moment as during the national anthem playback. It is very emotional for everyone, for the players, for the fans, and hopefully it will work out. But we will know later. And thank you for your question.
Okay, thank you. Second row, please. 5 in.
Hi, Rob Harris from Sky News.
Hi, Rob.
We've heard you talk about how you need to raise money for football, also about how you want to focus on the football. Football needs fans, they bring the passion. You were once a fan growing up who couldn't afford tens of thousands of dollars for a ticket. Your friend Donald Trump said he wouldn't pay $1,000 for a ticket. The British Prime Minister Keir Starmer said it's unacceptable for fans to be exploited. Are Trump and Starmer wrong, or do you apologise to fans who feel ripped off and priced out, and will you look to ensure that prices do come down and never as high again?
Well, let me say one thing as well at the outset. Let me congratulate Mayor Mamdani from New York. I was with him day before yesterday, actually. I have to congratulate him because he put on sale 1,000 tickets at $50 a couple of months ago, and since then he gets fantastic news. We put on sale 130,000 tickets at $60, and we don't get great news. Probably has better communication people than us, or probably he's better than me, I don't know. But I want to congratulate him, of course, for that and for that initiative as well. And to reiterate that the starting price is at $60, that the market, everything I said before, the market is here what it is, that if you sell it at a lower price point, and again, this has been part of intense and extensive analysis in this particular market, it would have gone, which is perfectly legal in this country, in secondary markets at much, much, much higher prices. And where would the money go then? Well, to those who organize secondary market or black market activities, and not to football. So every dollar that comes in goes back into the development of football. We have one competition every 4 years that generates revenues. The 47 other months out of the 48 of 4 years, we are investing this revenue in the growth of the game. Nobody else is doing that. Nobody. This allows us to maintain as well free TV. I said we could put everything on pay. We would generate 30 billion revenues, probably. But then you have billions of people in the world who would not be able to watch the World Cup. So the soul and the heart is the fans in the stadiums, it's the fans in the fan zones, it's the fans at home, it's every football fan. We want to bring the World Cup to every football fan. And this is what this price structure is. This is what dynamic pricing is as well. We had the Club World Cup last year. The prices of some matches went up, others went down. In this situation, they could have gone down as well. They didn't really go down. This shows that maybe the price point was the right one. As FIFA president, I have the statutory responsibility to generate the income which allows FIFA to invest in all of these countries where otherwise nobody would invest. And I know that, you know, some people from some parts of the world, maybe they don't care about that. But at some stage, we need to think as well of them. And if nobody thinks of them, well, we do. We do think of the majority that doesn't speak, that doesn't have voice, that doesn't have anything. In FIFA, they have a vote as well. I've also heard saying, well, this money just goes to the federations. to secure power or stuff like this. Well, tell me, where should the money go otherwise? Where? To finance corrupt practices? I don't think so. It has to go to the federations. It is checked, and it is invested to give children hopes and dreams. We are building 100 academies all over the world, again, in countries nobody puts their feet in. And at some stage, we have to accept as well that democracy is not just an empty word. And if we accept democracy, we have to accept the one member, one vote situation, and that if we were putting on a vote certain things, well, they would go in a certain direction. This is what makes FIFA different from anyone else. I know that there was some medieval practice in some parts of the world, and you know which ones, where rich people would have more votes than poor people. I don't know if you would like, not you, but if anyone would like to go back to that system. Maybe some would like. Well, it's not right. It's not going to happen. Thanks God, this is the medieval, and we are now in the second, how do you call it, 21st century, right? So we continue to invest. We continue to thank everyone who helps us investing in football all over the world, and we want to see players from all over the world playing. In the Club World Cup last year, only in the final, we had players from 16 different nationalities and 5 different continents playing. This would be impossible without the World Cup, without the revenues generated at the World Cup, and it would be irresponsible if we don't generate the right revenues in this market, as the right revenues in every market that we do. Look at the debutants. Cape Verde. Do you think Cape Verde would ever had the chance to qualify for a World Cup? They qualified. For them, it's maybe nobody cares about Cape Verde or Curaçao, but for them, it's the most important thing in the world, and for me as well. Haiti, they don't play in their home since 5 years. 5 years. And they qualify to the World Cup. I've been to see Haitian boys and girls in Miami. I was in Haiti some years ago. And to be able to give them this is priceless. This is priceless. Thank you so much.
Okay, question over here at the front. Gentleman with the glasses.
Bonjour.
Yep.
Mehdi Foudi, for beIN Sports. Pour diversifier un peu, je vais vous poser la question en français après l'anglais et l'espagnol.
To diversify this, I will ask this question in French. President, I think the previous edition in Qatar was not nearly as challenging, even though it faced a lot of unjust criticism even before it started, and yet it set a very high standards from a sporting respect, with one of the greatest finals in history and a very well-regarded level. But in addition to the economic records that this edition is set to break, what are the success criteria for FIFA? What would you like to see on the pitch so that at the end of the day you can see, okay, this edition topped Qatar? Well, if we want this edition to be a success, I think people have to be happy. That is what we want. If we can, I'm not going to repeat everything I said earlier, but if for just a moment, for 90 minutes in the game, people forget their daily troubles, you know, over the course of maybe 90 minutes, 3 games, round of 32, 16, and so forth. If for 39 days, they can set their day-to-day problems aside just a little bit and have something to talk about with their families, with their children, with their parents, their grandparents. If people are just a little bit happier, it will have been a success. Now, of course, I hope we see some incredible goals. some breathtaking games. I obviously support that. We want safety, of course, in stadiums, no accidents. No accidents in stadiums, no accidents in cities. Now, obviously, this will be one of the biggest challenges in the World Cup. There are significant distances, different countries, all the organization. I mentioned 300,000 people accredited for the World Cup, and this doesn't count all of the people in the different governments who are also working together across the three countries and outside. Think police, the military, everybody who has to coordinate for this World Cup to take place safely. And I think if we can diffuse some of the controversies that exist and work on more positive messaging, this would also be a good contribution. Thank you. That being said, Qatar was exceptional. You're right.
Okay, over here, gentlemen, fourth row at the back.
Diego Macías de Olé, de Argentina.
Diego Macías from Olé, Argentina. First, thank you for what you just said about Mr. Marquez. A family member of his just sent his heartfelt appreciation. Next, the confirmation that Messi was going to be part of this World Cup was super significant. What does it mean for the World Cup that Messi is here in the World Cup and that the Argentine fans are also part of this World Cup?
La afición argentina es absolutamente espectacular.
Fans from Argentina are absolutely spectacular, outstanding. In Qatar, I remember 2 hours after the matches, we still had 20,000, 30,000 Argentinian fans, you know, screaming and chanting, muchachos, muchachos, boys, boys. Fans are spectacular for World Cups, and we saw it at the Club World Cup with the River and Boca fans who are just fabulous. And, you know, in a World Cup, fans are also family because people come with their parents, with their wives, with their children, and we're going to get to witness that not only with fans from Argentina, with fans from all over the world who will get to enjoy this World Cup. The fact that Leo Messi is playing this World Cup is, of course, not only relevant for Argentina, but it's also key for everybody, for all the football supporters. The same thing can be said about the rest of the players, Ronaldo, Mbappé, Dembélé, Jamil. Every single one of them, and all those names that I fail to say, and you're going to kill me. Of course, Harry Kane, Ryan Swanson, Andy Robertson, and everybody else. Each one of them each one of us have our own idols. My childhood idol was Evaristo Becalosi. He passed a few weeks back. I sent a kiss to him, and I think that he should have played as a leading man back in '82. He never played with the national team, but we celebrate him just as well.
I wanted to ask how you would characterize the relationship you've had with President Trump, the cooperation or not that you've gotten from this administration and the previous one. And lastly, how you would describe what you've done to keep President Trump on side over the past year, including the FIFA Peace Prize.
Thanks for the question. Well, I have a great relationship with President Trump. I'm very happy about that. I got to know him during his first mandate, and we have been working very closely together now in his second term. Without his engagement and his involvement, I think it would have been impossible, simply, as simple as that, it would have been impossible to organize a World Cup in the United States. He understood immediately the magnitude of the World Cup, the impact of the World Cup, and instructed as well, of course, the administration to help and assist. Now you're speaking about the biggest power in the world, so of course there are certain things that have to be taken into account. We've been discussing about them earlier. But to be able to exchange with the president on important topics, with his administration, to put everything on the table without asking for anything, but trying to explain, I think is probably the key to having a positive relationship. That's the way I see it.
Okay, thanks.
Sorry?
That's it. All for time, thank you. That's us finished. That's us wrapped. Finished? Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, media@fifa.org for any questions. Otherwise, thank you for your time and enjoy the tournaments. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Enjoy the World Cup. Enjoy the World Cup. Thank you so much. And don't give a hard time to the two coaches who were